right? That's good. So this deserves to be 404. So, you know, we have just cost of equity, RS equals D0 3 times 1 plus G over 42 plus G, right? Let me check. Let's check. Okay, full screen. So 3 times 1.04, 3.12 divided by 42.07 plus 0.04. 11, but that's wrong, right? Times 100, 11.43%. 11.43. Yep, only 2 people missed. That's good news, okay? So people are working hard. That's good. Then chapter 11, corporate value and value-based management. So all the chapters are, as you know, is related, right? This is based on chapter 9. So we and also chapter 7, okay? Free cash flow and MVA, EVA. All those things are still related, but now, so how to get corporate value and how to manage based on value, okay? Value-based management. Wisely just managing this company business. So this chapter is really an application of chapter 7 and 9. Then when we talk about corporate value, the company has 2 types of assets, 2 types. First is operating assets. So operating assets are basically we've been talking about, right? That operating working capital. Assets that are related to operation, directly related. But financial or non-operating assets are not directly related operation. The operating assets, there are assets in place and growth options. So assets in place includes tangible assets. Yeah, any question?
Yeah, I got a question. It's not about this. It's actually about chapter 10 homework. Would you be able to help with something real quick or no?
Oh, sure. Chapter 10, but chapter 10 homework is due today, so it's too late, but I can go over. Yeah, what's the question?
On 1016, you know, for the calculation of the present value.
Mm-hmm.
On why do we use for payment? Why do we use a positive, or do we use negative?
So chapter 10, problem 16. So that's your question, 1016?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that's my question also, Professor.
Well, what's the question again? Sorry, I have to look at the question. Yeah.
So for the present value calculations, I wasn't really sure, like if for the payment, we're supposed to use 80 or 50. And for IY, some people were thinking if we should use 7 IY or 10 IY.
So, like
It's the change numbers, the one we had.
so, according to the original numbers, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, is the current liabilities consist entirely of notes payable to banks, and the interest rate on this debt is 10%, the same as the rate on new bank loans. So 10% is cost of debt, right? These bank loans are not used for seasonal financing, but instead are part of the company's permanent capital structure. The long-term debt consists of 30,000 bonds, each with a par value of 1,000, an annual coupon interest rate of 6%, 20-year maturity. So this one, definitely you have to calculate market value using bond pricing, right? Bond pricing. So according to the original problem, then what? The coupon rate, annual coupon rate 6%, so 66% times, so 1,000 times 0.06 is 60 payment, and 20N, 1,000 future value, and the interest rate on this debt is 10%, so 10 IY, and compute present value. Then you will get present value of the bond, one bond, but that you have 30,000 bonds, so you have to multiply that by 30,000. So that is how to get market value of debt.
So could you go over the problem as we had it with the changed numbers?
Or that we can do that, or let's check home.
Yeah, because we already submitted the homework. I wasn't sure like if I did it right or not.
So what was the change numbers?
Change numbers are 8% instead of 6%, and 30 years instead of 20 years, and 7% instead of 10 years.
And
everything else remained the same.
The interest rate is 10%, stay the same?
No, it went to 7.
So 10 to 7.
10 to 7, 6 to 8%, 20 years to 30 years, and instead of $60 per stock, it was $50 per stock.
That is stock. Okay, thank you. But bond valuation, the 6% to 8%, so coupon payment equals 1,000 times 0.08 is 80, right? New coupon. And 10, then what? 1,000, so 80 payment, 1,000 future value, and
30N.
30N.
Mhm.
And the discount rate is 7%, right?
So 7 IY.
7 IY.
Yes.
And they hit present value. So let's check. Second, clear TV. Yeah. So 80 payment, 1,000 future value, 30N, and 7 IY. Compute present value, 112409 per share, right? But you have to have 30,000 bonds that didn't change. I didn't change. Okay, so 30,000. Then what? So second clear TVM, this one,
It should be
Time.
33,722,700.
33,722,712. But I think that may not be correct because we have more decimals. So, but in real life, just dollars and cents. So 1124.09 times 30,000.
Can you explain why the coupon or why the payment's 80 instead of whatever it indicated in the book?
But as I said, why this one is not moving? This technology is fixed there. Very strange. Maybe I'll just stop share and change that. Move this one. Move this one, but still doesn't move. Maybe I'll do it again. Sorry.
But Professor, could you explain why the payment is not negative? I thought when you issued a payment, you're losing cash. So shouldn't it be negative payment, negative 80?
Let me explain that to you. By the way, we have two chats. Okay, so that's the same question. Okay, but just as you did, just don't use chat because when I teach, I cannot see the chat. By the way, so first 33,722,700. Yeah, somebody's talking. Please mute. Please mute. Who is talking? Let me see. Yeah, don't talk. Okay. 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 So the question is why is 80? I showed you this one. Coupon payment is par value times coupon rate, and I change it from 6 to 8%. So 8%, and that is 80. The 80 payment. Okay. Coupon par value times coupon rate. That is what? Coupon payment. So 80 payment. So you have to do this one. And just if I change stock price to 50, then what?
So the
Stock
payment
price-
shouldn't be negative, Professor? It should be a positive?
Yeah, the question, yeah. It should be positive because when you buy a bond, then what? You pay money, then you pay the price to buy the bond, right? Then there is negative cash flow. So you pay money out of your pocket, then what? Then you get coupon into your pocket and par value into your pocket. So coupon payment is interest into your pocket, right? But bond price is the price you have to pay. You have to pay to buy the bond. If you buy the bond, then what? You are entitled to get interest, coupon, and par value. So both are positive, right? But look at this. I already did. Your present value is negative. Why? There is cash outflow. You have to buy it. All the other ones are positive, right? Okay, so
Professor, I have a question. So when it comes to multiplying the 30K times the 1124.09, why did we not take the accurate 1124.09 instead of us typing in 1124.09?
that's a really good question because even though the correct price is 1124.09 and more decimals, right? But in real life, you don't pay just decimal cents. Just you pay 1124.09. That's a bond price, right? So that's why we just do that. But if you just multiply 1124.09 by 30,000, I won't deduct the point, okay? Right? But I just want to say that in real life, you don't pay a fraction of cents. You just pay the minimum minimum price is dollar and cents, right? You don't pay 0.5 cents, right? So that's why. But just for in class, as long as you get 1124.09 on your screen, and that times 30,000, then you have some more accurate numbers. That's fine too. Yeah.
Tizak, you're muted.
Huh?
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So that's the question. Okay. So let's go back. So assets in place means you just currently have, that is what, tangible assets such as buildings, machines, inventory, and not only that, intangible assets such as patents, customer lists, reputation, and general know-how. And that's what you have currently, but growth options are opportunities to expand, and they generate free cash flow just from operation. Then, as we have seen from chapter 10, the present value of their expected future free cash flow discounted at the WACC as the value of operations. Okay, value of operations. So, value of operations is basically free cash flow, all the future cash flow. T equals 1 to infinity, that means about all the future cash flows discounted by WACC. So the free cash flows are for all the investors. So that's why you discount by WACC, not cost of equity or cost of debt. The free cash flow is for everybody, so discounted by WACC. Then you add non-operating assets to get the value of the company. So non-operating is not directly related to your operation, like marketable securities and ownership of non-controlling interest in another company. Value of non-operating asset usually is very close to figure that is reported on balance sheets. So our focus is not on non-operating assets, but on operating assets, right? And we just add value of non-operating assets to get corporate value, okay? So we focus on like value of operating assets. So total corporate value is value of operations plus value of non-operating asset. But as I said, we focus on value of operations because value of non-operating assets are usually close to the number in the balance sheet. So we just add, also the size is small compared to operating assets. So claims on corporate value, okay? We have the right-hand side of balance sheet, right? So debt holders have first claim. We know that debt holders has to be satisfied for the next in line to get paid if bankruptcy happens, right? And preferred stockholders have the next in line, and any remaining value belongs to stockholders, right? That's why we call them residual claim holders. They are stockholders. They are residual claim holders. anything that is left, that is for stockholders. So debt holders and preferred stockholders claim has to be satisfied. For the stockholders, common stockholders claim to be satisfied. So everybody's know that. Then finally, we apply corporate valuation model. So that's why chapter 9 and chapter 10 are all related. First, forecast the financial statement as shown in chapter 9. Okay, chapter 9 is very important, financial forecast. Then we calculate projected free cash flows. Then this is important. This valuation model can be applied to a company that does not pay dividend or a privately held company, so that for them, it's hard to just value, right? Privately held company, public company, we have data, and also the stock price, so we can get our they pay dividend or all the information. So easy to calculate value, not easy but easier. But privately held companies, the information is not public, and or a division of a company, right? Since free cash flow can be calculated for each of these situations. So it is so I think you are in finance concentration, so you probably have heard about CFA investment challenge. That is what the Cal State San Marcos, San Diego State, and University of San Diego, and other universities in this area send teams to evaluate local companies, and they compete how just detailed and accurate. And we can use this method. There are many methods of stock valuation. We used dividend valuation from FIN 304, but this one also can be used, corporate valuation model, because this one, even though they do not pay dividends, we can value company or privately held companies, or even a division of a company, because we can calculate free cash flow as long as they have just financial data available. So this is very important model to value any company or even any division. Then, for example, we have, let's say, data for valuation. So free cash flow at time 0 at $20 million. And WACC is 10%. And G is 5%. G means what? Constant growth, right? Constant growth. Constant growth rate. And marketable securities given 100 million. And that 20 million. Preferred stock 50 million. And those ones, we assume that the market value and book value is pretty much the same. But book value of equity is definitely different from market value of equity, right? So this should be changed, right, for you to get current market value of equity and market value of company. So given this data, this is simple data, we use a constant growth model, right? Free cash flow divided by 1 plus WACC and T's power, and then what? Free cash flow T is free cash flow 0 times 1 plus G to the T's power. then what? If t equals 1, then what? T equals 1, then free cash flow 0 times 1 plus g over 1 plus y. If t equals 2, free cash flow 0 times 1 plus g squared divided by 1 plus y squared, and so on. So that is, what is the name of this cash flow?
Discounted.
What did you say?
I said discounted.
Amo, name of this cash flow. What is the name of this cash flow? That is cash flow name. Name of this cash flow stream, like time 0 is free cash flow 0, time 1 is free cash flow 0 times 1 plus g, time 2 is free cash flow 0 times 1 plus g squared, and so on.
Is it perpetuity?
Annuity?
But, yeah, that's correct, but please be more precise.
Perpetual?
Growing perpetuity?
Check growing perpetuity. The free cash flow payment grows by the factor of g. So it's just growing perpetuity. So simply growing perpetuity formula is what? Is this. Free cash flow 1 over WACC minus G, right? So it's growing present value of growing perpetuity. Growing present value of growing. Growing perpetuity equals payment 1 over I minus, this is from Fin 304, right? So for this one, payment is free cash flow 1. Instead of I, we use WACC. So more generally, we use R, return, right? So in this case, return is WACC, because average return. So all the investors, the weighted average cost of capital is weighted average return of all the investors, WACC, because free cash flow is for all the investors. Free cash flow 1 over WACC minus G, and that is free cash flow 0 times 1 plus G over WACC minus G, right? So this is nothing more than growing perpetuity from Fin 304. Then what? Then plug in the numbers. Everything is given. Free cash flow 0, WACC, G is 5%, and so on. So 20 times 1 plus G over 0.1 minus 0.05. So value of operation is 420. That is how to calculate value of operation. Then what? Then market value of equity is just, we have, first we think about sources of corporate value, sources. Then what? That is value of operations plus, as I said, value of non-operating asset. Then total is what? 520, right? That's total corporate value. Then what? Claims on corporate value, that this is source, and the claims is value of debt. First to priority debt. Next priority is preferred stock. And those numbers are, again, in here. Okay. This is just given. Okay? That preferred stock, we just assume those are just market value, book value equal market value. They are pretty close. So we use that. Then what? Then what should be the value of equity? That is a market value of equity. If sources of corporate value is value of operations plus value of non-operating assets, 520, then total claims on corporate value, according to this one, then what should be the market value? All those ones are we just assuming market. Market value of that, market value of preferred stock, market value of equity. So what is market value of equity? Hint, easy.
Is it 270 million?
Check. Just 520 minus 200 minus 50, then what? 220. And there is here. Market value of equity is total corporate value, 520. So market value of equity is total minus that minus preferred stock, 270 million, right? So that is how to calculate market value of equity. First, we calculate total value of company minus debt and preferred stock. Then market value added, we did it in chapter 7. Then it what? Market value added is total corporate value of firm minus total book value. That means what? Market value minus book value. Then book value of firm is book value of equity plus book value of debt plus book value of preferred stock. Then what? Then book value of equity is given, right? 210 here. Book value of equity 210. So, and book value of debt plus book value of preferred stock, the market value added is 60 million. So this is market value, total is book value, 60 million. But we are assuming that these two are also market value. So market value equals book value for debt and preferred stock. So for those who are sleepy, color, okay, to wake you up, look at these bright colors. First is source of value. We did that. First is what? Value of operations.
Professor?
Yeah.
Yeah, I lost you at where you get like 210. I'm trying to figure it out.
Oh, that, as I said, that is given. Book value of equity is 210, and data for valuation is those are given. Okay?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for asking. Yeah, that probably helped somebody else. Yeah, that's good. So please don't hesitate to ask questions. And then what? So that is sources value. So we did value of operations plus marketable securities, non-operating asset, the source of value. Then claims on value, what? Debt and preferred stock, and then what? This blue one is equity. Okay, market value. And look at this. These two are basically the same. We assume book value is market value. And then what? Then this orange one is book equity, but market equity is blue. So market equity minus book equity, then what? That is market value added, this one. So this is exactly same thing, using colors to show you what happened. So sources value and claim zone value and market versus book. So that's the concept, right? So we have to know that, first we have to calculate value of operations and add non-operating asset. That's total value minus book value of debt and book value of preferred stock. Then you'll have, actually minus market value of debt and market value of preferred stock. Then you have what? Market value of equity. But in this case, just preferred stock and debt, book value and market value is the same. Just we assume that. Then this is more general. So this is a different company example. It's not related to the previous one because this first one was pretty easy one, simple one, just growing perpetuity. Then this one is, different company example, but more general. That is what? Look at this. It doesn't grow constant from the beginning because it's a non-constant growth. The company financed expansion by borrowing 40 million and holding dividends. No other debts or preferred stock is in the firm. So the company has no preferred stock, no other debt. So debt is only this 40 million debt. So it's borrowing 40 million to grow. Then what? Then because you invest more, so your growth will be different. For 3 years, you can forecast. Of course, this is just an example. It's the longer the better. You just forecast 5 years or even 10 years, it's better. It's more accurate, right? But human just ability is limited, so you cannot forecast forever. So this is needed. Okay, constant growth is needed after you cannot forecast. And this is just simple example. So you can forecast 3 years or 5 years more accurately than normal growth. But this case is you forecast for 3 years more accurately and about free cash flow. And then again, human limitation, you cannot forecast forever. So at some point, you have to just assume constant growth rate, 6%. So that's the scenario, right? And then we need WACC 10%, and the number of shares is 10 million shares of stock. And horizon value means when you cannot forecast just not accurately. So just you assume constant growth, and that is horizon value. So free cash flows are forecast for 3 years in this example. So forecast horizon is 2 years, right? You can forecast 3 years. Growth in free cash flow is not constant during the forecast, right? It's more accurate, you just forecast. So we can't use constant growth formula to find the value of operations at time 0, right? You can use constant growth formula only after 3 years. After 3 years, we assume growth will be constant, right? So this is pretty much similar to supernormal growth rate in dividends that we covered in FIN 304, because you cannot forecast forever, right? At some point in time, you have to assume constant growth. So here, growth is constant after the horizon 3 years. So you can modify the constant growth formula to find the value of all free cash flows beyond the horizon. discounted back to the horizon. So what? You're using constant growth formula, so growing perpetuity formula after year 3, right? No other way. Just constant growth formula, growing perpetuity. So what we did just before, right? First example is easier because just constant growth starts from time 0. But normally, when you just evaluate company, you may forecast better for several years, right? Then you have to take advantage of that. So, like horizon value formula is horizon value, HV, horizon value equals value of OP means operation, right? Value of operation. Value of operation. At time t, so horizon value is value of operation at time t, and this one, value of operation at time t. That is what? Just this one. Constant growth formula or growing perpetuity, present value of growing perpetuity, right? And that is also called terminal value or continuing value, horizon value. Then, so this one is very, very important. As you know, it's pretty highly likely to be on the exam, right? Or quiz. Because what? This is just backbone of all just valuation method. That is what? For several years, as you can forecast better, you just forecast free cash flow. Maybe first year you get negative because you invest a lot, and so you need time to just make profit. So it's probably you need just lots of investment to grow. So it is -5. That's okay. But after that, you just free cash flow is positive. But year three is very, very important, very, very important year because what? Constant growth starts from year 3, right? So you need only year 4 free cash flow, right? Because year 4, year 5, year 6, year 7, all those future years, those free cash flows can be discounted using growing perpetuity formula. So 21.2, that is what? Free cash flow 4 divided by WACC minus G, then you get 530. But important thing is, I have to change the color, very important. That is, look at this. You have free cash flow 4 divided by WACC minus G, then what? Value of operation at 3. That's extremely important. That's where many people make mistake. Many people can write down the formula well, 21.2 over 0.1 minus 0.06, 530. So far so good, but they just think that's the value of operation at 4. Wrong. There is always 1 year lag. Free cash flow 4 over WACC minus G, then your value of operation at 3. It's a 1 year lag. Don't forget that. Okay, that's common mistake is here. Okay, value of operation at 3 is free cash flow 4 over WACC minus G. So actually, this 530 is value at 3. So you have to put 530 here. That's the most important part. Okay. So how did you get minus 4.545? Anybody? Be bold. Wrong answer is better than no answer.
Is it -5 over 0.1 minus 0.06?
Oh, no, that is just, this one doesn't grow. This is just, the point is that the free cash flow you forecast, those ones are not constant growth. This is non-constant growth period. So those free cash flows should be discounted one by one, no other way, no other way. So one more try. So you get minus 4.545. How can you get that one?
Is it discounted from year one, -5 by 10%?
Yeah, you are still very, volume is very low.
Okay, so is discounted value from year one to present values?
Discount by what?
By 10%.
Check. Just discount is your cost of capital is WACC. WACC is 10%, right? So 5 divided by 1 plus 1.1, 1 plus R, 1 plus WACC, so 1.1. And 8.264 is 10 divided by 1.1 squared with year 2. And this one is 20 discounted by 1.1 cubed. And this number is what? This number is 530 discounted by 1.1 cubed. Then what? You add them up, then 416, 942. That's the value of operation, right? So don't get confused. You use this formula only when constant growth happens. So think about year 3 as like year 0. Year 0 constant growth happen, then D4 is like D1 or free cash flow 1. Actually, if year 3 is time 0, year 4 is time 1. So free cash flow 1 over WACC minus G is value operation at 0. But this is actually not 0 at year 3. So free cash flow 4 over WACC minus G is value of operation at 3, right? So this 530 is value of operation at 3. That's why it's 530 over 1.1 cubed, right? Discounting, just so value of operation is present value of all future free cash flows, right? And if constant growth starts from 0, time 0, then you can just use free cash flow 1 or WACC minus G. That is value of operation, right? But this one is different because we have 3 years of non-constant growth, right? Non-constant. 3 years of non-constant growth. If it is non-constant growth, there's no other way but getting present value 1 by 1, right? So this is, yep.
So how can we plug this in the cash flow in the calculator?
Good point. Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah, bingo. First, we have to understand what's happening, right? I emphasize understanding. So this is, I'll get to that. This is present value of free cash flow 1. This is present value of free cash flow 2. This is present value of free cash flow 3. And this is present value of value of operation at 3. Oh, this is 3. Okay, so free cash flow 3. So both of them are at year 3. So this is present value of free cash flow 3. Then this is present value of operation at t equals 3. So that's why it's cubed. So once you know that, so it's again, value of operation is today's value operation is what? Present value of all future free cash flows. So present value of future free cash flow 1, 2, 3, and value of operation That includes present value of all future cash flow at free cash flow 4 and 5, 6, all those ones at t equals 3. So that's why you have to discount 3 years, 1.1 cubed. Then what? This is present value of all future free cash flows. That's value of operation today. Then once you know that, then what? Then what? When it comes to solving the problem, it will be easier if you write down like this. Only relevant, let me see the numbers more clearly. So -5, 10, 20, and 530 like this, right? So this is nothing more than uneven cash flow, right? And discount rate is 10%, WACC is 10, right? So using our technology, we can use cash flow, second clear TV, CF0 is 0, right? And down arrow, C1 is -5, 5 negative. F1 is 1. C2 is what? 10. F2 is 1. What is C3?
550.
550.
Check, 550. Somebody did. C3 is 20 and C4 is 530. Wrong. Both are year 3 value, so you have to add 550. Or if the numbers are more, so dollars and cents, more just hard to add immediately, you can do this way: 20 plus 530 equal 550. Then what? Just enter. Right? That's the C. Don't forget that both are C3, so be careful. And then go to NPV. I is 10, so WACC is 10. 10, enter. Down arrow, compute. 4,616.94. So cash flow and NPV, especially C3 is 550. Yeah, be careful. C3 is 550. Then what? 516.94. 416.94. Okay, so that is very, very important, very highly likely to be in the quiz or exam, because this one is the main point of chapter 11. Yeah. So once you calculate, but that's not the end of the problem yet. You just calculate value of operations today, right? Then for you to get value of equity, right? But here, if you look at the questions, where is it? It says that no other debt or preferred stock in the firm, and there is no non-operating asset given, right? So if non-operating asset is given, then you have to add that, but that's not given, so you don't have to add anything. So that is value of value of operation is just value of company, total value of company. But value of equity is total value of company minus value of debt, because there is no preferred stock. Then 376.94 million. Then what? Price per share is this one, divide by 10 million shares. So answer is 37.69. So that is price per share. So that's the very important. So that is how to calculate stock price when you evaluate the company. So this technique is very important. For example, if you are an investment analyst or specialist, so that you get the data for the company and you calculate the price per share based on your research. Then what? Then you compare this one with your current price. For example, if current price is 40, let's say, then what? Then stock is overvalued, so you have to just give sell recommendation. But if current price is 30, then what? All this is undervalued. Right price is 37.69. So you just give a buy order, right? So this may be confusing later. So simply, so this is additional, like a kind of investment class. So if the current price is 40, then what? Then this is overvalued. So sell recommendation. But if the current price is 30, then buy recommendation. So that's actually how investment company and specialists just show some recommendation, right? The price is, let's say, 37, current price 37, then maybe hold. That's just pretty much the value it is. So that is even applied to your investment class. But this one is corporate finance, so we just want to know what is price per share. What is your expected price share if you do expand your company? You see, as a financial manager, by doing your expansion, you expect that price share will be around $37 or $38, something like that. So good management tools. And then, given that valuation we just did, then now it's time to use this valuation method to manage strategically, right? The value-based management, VBM. So VBM is value-based management is systematic application of the corporate valuation model to all corporate decisions and strategic initiatives. So this one, like a buy or sell, those ones are investment class related, but this one is corporate finance class related. So, you use, like a corporate valuation model to systematically apply this model to all corporate decisions and strategic initiatives. So the objective of value-based management is to increase market value added. That's goal. So market value, if you increase market value added, that means what? Fin 3 or 4, the goal of financial managers. That is what? Maximizing stock price. Market value added will increase if your stock price go up. If your stock price goes up, then what? The value investors, stockholders' wealth maximized, market value added maximized, and so on. So now how to strategically manage using valuation model. Then we have, there are actually 4 value drivers. So market value added is determined by 4 drivers: sales growth, growth rate, G, and operating profitability, OP. That is what? No PAT over sales. And capital requirements, CR, capital requirements, CR. So operating capital over sales, okay? So this is like investment part, okay? Operating capital over sales. So operating profitability is a profit side. Operating profitability, no PAT over sales. And finally, weighted average cost of capital, WACC. So G, OP, CR, and WACC. Those ones are 4 value drivers. Then look at this. Like this is kind of the formula needed to strategically manage using valuation model. So market value added is, left-hand side is sales times 1 plus G over WACC minus G times operating profitability. So this part is profit, WACC is cost, capital requirement is cost. So simply this right-hand side is profit minus cost. And left-hand side is just total sales and present value of sales, something like present value of sales, right? All present value of all future sales when there is no cost and nothing, just present value of sales. So that is market value added. Then you may wonder where this formula come from, right? But believe it or not, the formula is basically from, look at this, surprisingly, from this one. Horizon value formula. Horizon value, we assume a constant growth, right? So horizon value formula is like that. Free cash flow when you are at T, then you get T plus 1. Right? And you are at T, you'll get T plus 1. Always 1 period lag. If you have T plus 1, then you will get T, value at T. So, believe it or not, this one is from this formula. Pretty strange, right? And we need some manipulation to get this formula. So, free cash flow T plus 1 is free cash flow T times 1 plus G, right? Constant growth. So this is like a identity. I didn't do anything, right? And then here, we just used the definition. Free cash flow T times 1 plus G is free cash flow T plus 1. That is nothing more than, this is definition. No PAT minus change in operating capital, right? That's the chapter 7. So that's why all the chapters are related. So this is just definition, okay? Free cash flow equals no PAT minus change in operating capital. So I didn't do anything, just again, the identity, the definition. Then we just like this one, we just expand this one minus OCT plus 1, minus minus plus, so plus OCT, right? And here comes the intuition. So value of operation at T equals, so this is what makes everything just made sense, okay? That is what, that is, the definition is such that value of operation at T equals operating capital at T, your investment, plus market value added, right? So you generate market value added by what? By your operation. And OCT's operating capital is your investment. So this is some value added. That is value of operation at T. So that definition definitely makes sense, right? So that's why we get that formula, this one, okay? This formula is what? About market value added, right? So market value added is what? Value of operation minus OCT. So from this one, market value added is value of operation minus OCT, right? And value of operation is total, right? So this one. So this one minus operating capital at T, that is what? Market value added. So just exactly this one. Value of operation at T plus 1, at T, value of operation at T minus OCT, right? So for you to put this one on the numerator, you have to also multiply this WACC minus G here, right? So WACC minus G, WACC minus G, then you have OCT here. So I didn't do anything, just expand this one, except that I put OCT on the numerator, right? Multiplying WACC minus G. Everything else is the same. Then you just simplify, right? Then this one is from here, just I expand minus OCT plus 1 plus OCT minus OCT WACC plus OCT times G, right? And just rearrange, then what? Then you have NOPAT 1 plus T times 1 plus G minus OCT 1 plus G plus OCT 1 minus WACC plus G, right? Then actually 1 plus G here, right? And OCT times 1 plus G here is minus, this is plus. So that cancels each other, these two. Then you have what? And there is minus here, right? So minus OCT times WACC, right? So this is the final stage. So you simplify, and you didn't do anything. Just follow the definition, right? Just follow the definition, and from here, you just simplify, right? And then what? It's like this. This is final answer. Now here comes some manipulation. So if you look at this one, that is what? NOPAT T 1 plus G minus OCT times WACC over WACC minus G. This is basically just the concept. That is what? Market value added is your profit minus cost, right? That is some added value divided by WACC minus G is the total value added, right? That's the concept. Then now the trick is this. Trick is you have same thing. This one times one is this one, right? A number times one is this one. But so one is actually you use sales over sales. This is ingenious technology, just technique. The sales over sales, this one times sales over sales, right? Then you'll get this one. See, look at this. Sales over sales, that is one. Again, sales over sales, there's one. So you are multiplying a one, so it doesn't change anything, right? But by doing this way, you have some kind of idea, right? Some kind of idea. So this one is sales times 1 plus G over WACC minus G. That is what? The present value of all the sales. So if you keep all the sales as your profit, then this is the total value. And the next bracket is that you have NOPAT over sales. Suddenly there is what? Operating profitability, NOPAT over sales. And, you know, the OCT over sales, right? And then what? Then you will have capital requirements, right? Capital requirements. OCT over sales. So OCT over sales is capital requirement, and WACC is here. The 1 minus G is still there. So 1 minus G. So that is finally the formula. So what we did is starting from horizon value formula and use a definition. Horizon value is operating capital plus market value added. So market value is horizon value minus operating capital. And then from then on, you just some manipulation. And finally, you just multiply by one. One is sales over sales is one. So you didn't change anything. So you have this amazing formula. Very, very useful, right? So but the concepts still stay the same. Operating profit minus WACC is weighted average cost of capital. It's cost side. Capital requirement is also cost, right? And then why there is 1 plus G? So 1 plus G is very important because this one is just same time, right? NOPAT T over sales T. But look at this WACC. WACC is what? WACC is weighted average cost of capital. There is also weighted average return, right? I told you that investors' return is financial managers' cost, right? Return. So actually that's return. And when you say return, for you to calculate return, you have a period to return, right? You have to wait. For example, you get annual return or monthly return. You need some kind of period to get return, right? Operating profitability is just same time, but WACC has some kind of return concept, some period. So that's why you use 1 plus G. Then it's like discounting, some kind of discounting concept, right? WACC divided by 1 plus G. So that is some, sophisticated or subtle concept. Okay.
Professor, so do we have to do all 6 calculations to get to this one, or?
That's a really good question. actually, you are not responsible for derivation. Okay, I just showed you the derivation to just to let you know how that formula come from, right? But I won't let you drive that one, right? So that won't be on the exam. But yeah, it is for you as a finance concentration, finance major, you have to know how we get that formula, right? So that is, using just horizon value formula. So this is final formula. Then we have to understand. Oops. This is for 20. So 3 more minutes. So insight from the constant growth model. That is, the first bracket is the market value added of a firm that gets to keep all of its sales revenues. So that means operating profit margin is 100%. And that never has to make additional investment in operating capital. So this is left-hand side. So that is always positive, right? So that is the case when you get all the sales revenue is profit, right? And you don't need to make any operating capital investment. And then what? The second bracket, so second bracket is important. Second bracket is the operating profit as a percentage of firm gets to keep. So operating profit minus the return that investors require for having tied up their capital in the firm. So basically, their requirement, WACC, the cost, and their capital requirement divided by 1 plus G. So this is very, very important. So this has to be positive for market value added to be positive, right? So that this part to being positive is extremely important, right? So in other words, your profit has to be higher than your cost. Pretty common sense, right? But this one is the backbone of strategic management. So you have to calculate operating profitability and capital requirement and WACC. Then, 1 minute. So market value added will improve if WACC is reduced, right? According to this one. If this is small, then this part will be higher. And operating profitability increase, that's sure. If this is bigger, then what? And finally, capital requirement decreases, right? This one goes down then. But how about G, right? That's not there, but that's our next topic, but no more fun. So your password is 394.